Belly up to the bar, barflies, and have a drink with me. My name is Kellen, and this is the Midwestern Barfly Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back to the program. This is episode number 9 of the Midwestern Barfly Podcast. Hope y'all, I'm Southern somehow, and I'm from the Midwest. Don't know how that happened. Anyway, hope you all have had an amazing week. We have a lot of shit to get to today. We got a few baseball-related topics to get to, and probably one of the weirdest news stories I've ever heard in my life. I've talked a lot about news stories on this show and with this website. This one, bro, I don't know what I think about it, but we'll get to it. It'll be one of the topics. But before we get there, I do want to say that this show is sponsored by, as always, the Midwestern Barfly Gazette shop. Yes, that is our merch store. That is where we sell all of our goofy t-shirts, hoodies, slides, hats, or whatever you want from our brand. That's where we sell them. We got some greats like the I'm My Grandma's Bookie line, the WinBets Pound Beers line. We got a new one out that's the, what did I call it? The What Did I Do line. It's me with those goofy ass goggles on with a speech bubble that says, what did I do? Almost like a catchphrase for me. If you ask anyone that knows me, I've said that before at least 7 times in their presence within the span of a week or so. Not at one time. That'd be fucking weird. Anyway, though, please make sure to check that out. Fill your cart up. Do some shopping. You know, the holidays are coming up. It is July, about to be August, but you got to be prepared at some point, folks. So go check that out. Link will be in the bio or below wherever you're listening to this. Now that that's out of the way, though, let's get to our first topic. All right, so to start this one off, this one's for the baseball fans out there. So just a little bit ago, a few days ago, maybe even a week ago, good old Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals was offered, let me check my notes, a 15-year, $440 million deal. I'll say that again. He was offered from the Washington Nationals 15 years where he will be paid, or however it's structured, but the price of that contract is $440 million. That's a lot of fucking money for people that don't understand. And he turned it down. If you didn't see the news, it's all over the news, so I don't have to source it. He declined a 15-year, $440 million contract. As a baseball fan, I can understand it, and I'll explain that in a second. But looking at this as an outsider, just the thought of being a human that can look another human in the face and go, no, I don't want you to pay me $440 million over the next 15 years. I don't want that. I decline this. That's just astounding to me. It's just astounding that, what is he, 23 years old? He's able to look someone in the eye and say that. I mean, if it was me, I would have probably, thought it through, taken a second to think about it, which he probably did. I don't know him. I don't know his situation. I don't know his reasoning for saying no. But if it were me, that's a lot of fucking money to consider. But if you look at it from the baseball side, the baseball fan point of view, it makes sense why someone in his position would say no. It makes sense because if you look at the Washington Nationals, they won the title, they won the World Series, I think it was 2019, 2018, 2019. I think it was 2019. Ever since then, though, it's been a downhill slide for those guys. If you look back, obviously there's the COVID year, which is not gonna, doesn't really fit as well with the COVID year. But if you look at their win percentages the last 3 years, it literally goes down every year. Right now, they're easily on track to lose 100 games, excuse me. They're the basement dwellers of the National League. They literally are. If you look at the standings right now, they are the worst team in the National League. And it doesn't look any better, like it's getting any better from there, folks. Because if you look at where their farm system, their young guys are ranked, at the beginning of the year, they were ranked, what, in the 20s? Like the high 20s, 20 to 23, somewhere around there. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I wrote an article about it. So when you have that bad of a farm system, and the majors are just playing like shit, what do you expect from a guy like Juan Soto to do? I mean, granted, like I said, that's a lot of money, but it's not like he wants to be a lifer there. And there's nothing wrong with being a lifer with a team. Like a lot of players have done it before. It's not uncommon. Problem is, in his certain position, being a lifer would mean a lot of losing, folks. A lot of losing. Because when you got all that money, like, situated into one place, kind of tough spreading it around the rest of the diamond or the rest of the roster, if that makes sense. When you, at this point, him being 23 and whatnot, when your farm system is mediocre as shit, and it doesn't look like you're going to get a lot of reinforcements coming up from the minors to help you being Soto, in the next few years. I mean, I could see why someone would say no. I could see it. But the question, though, is he's obviously going to be on the trading block. That's what the news surrounding it. He's allegedly on the trading block. So the question that surrounds it is, where is he going? Where's Juan going? Where are they going to send him? Me personally, I don't see it happening just because they have such a good nucleus right now. Like, they're the best team in baseball, or one of the best teams in baseball. But the New York Yankees, I would love to see that solely because it would make the rest of the baseball world lose their shit. Because, I mean, personally, how I look at baseball, it's everyone versus the Yankees. It is, because they've always had that, like, ever since I was little, and I'm 28 and I feel so old saying that, but ever since I was little, it's always been everyone versus the Yankees. Like, they were the big time. They were the New York team. They were buying everybody up. They were always winning. So the thought of Juan Soto going there in some fashion to be with guys like Stanton and Judge and Rizzo and whoever else, and that pitching staff, whoever else is on that fucking team, that would just set the whole season into a tizzy. Like, on social media, it's just going to be like, oh, fuck the Yankees, this, that, whatever. It's just going to piss so many people off, and I would laugh my ass off. It would be amazing to see. But as more of a realistic pick, well, obviously the Yankees are realistic, but my real pick is I would love to see Juan Soto go to a team that's kind of on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoffs. So like the Yankees, the Mets, those guys are on the top, whatever. But I want to see Soto go to like a Mariners or like the Guardians. Like, I don't know what the trading situation would be like. I just think that'd be so dope. Just that, to see him go to that one organization that's right outside or looking in, or like a team that's kind of near the bottom. Let me explain. If the playoffs started today, one of those teams that's near like the middle or the bottom, where if Soto went, it would make the postseason a lot more interesting. Like if he went to the Mariners and teamed up with Julio Rodriguez and those boys, that would be fun to fucking watch. I don't see it happening. If it does, great. It would be fantastic. But that's just my personal opinion on where he should end up. The question is, though, where do you think Juan Soto should end up? Or will end up, rather. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear it. And, yeah, Juan Soto, buddy. This just made the next few weeks very fucking interesting. All right, so before we get into this next segment, I want to pose a question for you all. I want to pose a question, and I want to ask, how much do you think minor league ball players get paid? Like minor league baseball players. Like single A, double A, triple A, whatever. How much do you think they get paid? Do you think they get paid a living wage? Do you think they get paid like the big boys, or even like half like the big guys and the bigs? Well, I say this because, and I Googled this, I found this from a Washington Post article from April 25th of this year. And this is a quote. Annual salaries for minor league baseball players, they're about $7,000, range between $4,800 at the rookie ball levels to about $14K in AAA. They earn nothing during the offseason or in the grueling 7 days a week spring training. This is a quote from the Washington Post from an article this year. It's not like I went back to like 2017 or some shit. This year. So basically, they get paid like shit. While the boys and the bigs are getting paid like millions of dollars and whatnot. Like the last segment you heard where Juan Soto got offered $444 million. These guys are getting paid in the AAA level, $14K annually? The fuck is that? That's absolutely not a living wage, first off. And secondly, if you think that's a living wage, you are completely blind. And you should really look in the mirror and say to yourself, do I understand anything? Now, I say this because, something was trending today the day I filmed this or record this on social media. Good old Rob Manfred was trending. That beautiful, beautiful man. And I say that sarcastically because, and I quote, this is a tweet from a woman named, someone named Hannah Kaiser. She tweeted, and she's a journalist also, let's point that out. She tweeted, asked Rob Manfred if his owners don't pay minor leaguers a living wage because they can't afford to or because they aren't interested in doing so. Response, and this is the quote, I reject the premise that they're not paid a living wage, Manfred said. And the entire fucking internet just exploded after that. And I mean, granted, he could have meant, I'll play devil's advocate, he could have meant that in some other way or something like that. But from what he said, and the way I read it, and a lot of other people read it, is that he allegedly thinks that minor leaguers are paid a living wage. I'm appalled at just the thought of that. That he actually thinks that minor leaguers are paid a living wage. Because, and I will revert back to that quote I just said, $14K a year for AAA, that one level before the bigs, that's a livable wage? No. Stop. The guy that gets paid, I don't know how much he gets paid, but probably millions a year to be the commissioner of this damn league is just so out of touch with what's going on in the world, especially in his own fucking league. $14K a year, you think that's a livable wage, from according to this quote that's just taking the world by storm right now. That's ridiculous to me. And that's just something that needs to be addressed in this damn league. Because, to be honest, I get the dream of going to the majors, this, that, whatever. Like, that's what these guys are fighting for. But what's the point of going through all that shit, working two jobs when you're associated with a major league club? A lot of these guys probably working two jobs or only focused on baseball and having to deal with this shit when you're only making $14K a year. I wish I had more to say about it, but it's just so stupid that I can really muster right now is, what the fuck are we doing here, people? Well, like, seriously. These owners, the Rob Manfred, all the Major League Baseball brass, the higher-ups, need to get a clue, need to start setting some kind of limit for the minors, and let these guys get paid what they deserve. Because, making another point here, think about it. Think about the guys that don't make the majors. Think about that. Think about the guys that don't develop like they're supposed to. They get drafted, they get signed, whatever, and they're stuck in single A, double A, triple A ball for God knows how long. The 30-year-olds, the 35-year-olds, the high 20s, all that stuff. And their time is just fleeting. They're spending all their time down there, and they're making just, I'll say it, pennies on the dollar. With the dollar being the bigs making an exorbitant amount of money per contract. It needs to be addressed. That's all that I can really say. It needs to be addressed. The fact that that quote is a thing now is a bad look on the league. And something needs to be fixed. I can't even... I've lost all words. Jesus Christ. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to end off this show, the final segment, like I said in the intro, this one's going to be a doozy, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be honest, this is going to be one of the weirdest, strangest, oddest, or whatever word you want to use, topics that you have ever heard on this show. And that's actually on this show, on our website, whatever. And that's saying something with the shit that we've already talked about. So, just the other day, an article from the New York Post came across my newsfeed. That article was titled, and I quote, "I bought my husband a sex doll that looks just like me. Now we have threesomes." I will say that again. The article was titled, "I bought my husband a sex doll that looks just like me. Now we have threesomes." Now, for the record, if you would like to read this article, it is from the New York Post. I do cite my sources. I'm very proud of that. You can find this source in the description of wherever you are listening to this podcast if you would like to read the full article. But to sum up this story, and I've got some questions about this. I've got some questions. So to sum up this story, there's a couple. The man's 23. The man's 28. The woman's 23. So apparently, according to this article, the husband has a very high libido, a very high sex drive. And according to the article, the woman was having trouble keeping up with this said sex drive. So what she did was, she purchased a sex doll for her husband. Sex doll costing $1,800. We are going to hit on that point very shortly. But she purchased the doll to help for when she's not in the mood, so that if she's not in the mood, the husband can have sex with the doll. If she is in the mood, husband has sex with her. Like, very easy to figure out. So when they got the doll, they were doing that, but then they also started to experiment with her, including her in threesomes. They say the doll also improved their sex life greatly. And if you do read the article, there are a lot of very interesting other factors and other key characteristics of their life that they use the doll in that you might find rather interesting. But the sex part is kind of what drove me to this article and is what I have a few questions on. And if you are a family member of mine, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I just thought this was funny, and this is very awkward trying to explain this, knowing that I have family members listening to this damn show. So, first question I have is the $1,800 price tag on this damn doll. I need a sip of water. Give me a second. Is the $1,800 price tag on this doll? Where did you buy this? Where did you buy this doll? Like, I'm completely serious about this. Is there a website, like a sex doll website, or is there like a phone number, like 1-800-SEX-DOLL? Better yet, is there a catalog that you could subscribe to that comes in and it's like in sections? Like, oh, this is the blonde section, this is the brunette section, the redhead section, the exotic section, whatever. Like, where do you find $1,800 sex dolls? Because to me, the only sex dolls that I can like think of are from movies. Like, you know, the ones that are like super cheapy plastic that you blow up like it's an inner tube for a pool, and the eyes look like somebody used a magic marker to draw them on. They probably cost like, what, $60, $50? Like, where did you buy it? And to go off of that, what the fuck is the thing made out of? I've always wondered that. What is an $1,800 sex doll made out of? And how do you clean it? That's kind of a two-parter. Like, how do you clean the damn thing? Is it like dishwasher safe that like it disassembles, you can put it in the dishwasher and it gets sterilized? That'd be actually kind of funny. Like, could you imagine that though? Like, side note, if that thing was dishwasher safe, which I don't think it is, so don't quote me on it, and you put that in the dishwasher and you had family come over and they're like, oh, I'll help you with the dishwasher. They're staying over and whatnot, and they open it and they just see legs and arms and shit. How do you explain yourself out of that? But I digress. That was just a side note. Anyway, like, is it that? Is it like laundry safe? Like, is there like a layer on top of the doll that you can just peel off and throw it in the washing machine? Like, how do you clean the damn thing? And I hope somebody knows this and leaves in the comments, because I would love to react to that as well. But anyway, bottom line is, to be honest, I think this is a cool story, but a very interesting, like an off-putting story all at the same time. Because if you see this go across your social media feed, you're instantly going to stop and click it. Like, it's like human nature. If you're going to see something that's titled that, like, oh, I bought my husband a sex doll that looks like me, now we have threesomes, you're instantly going to click that, because it's an interesting fucking story. And then all in all, it's just overall, I know this is kind of a short one, but I did want to bring this up because, to be honest, I'm happy to see people happy. I'm happy to see that these two are happy with their decision and they're proud to talk about it with like a major news publication, because that's really cool. Granted, people, like, you'll read that in the article, they really don't care what other people think, but like, that's cool that they're doing their thing and they're letting people know about it. I just thought that was a nice little story. Very interesting story. Very like, hey, what the fuck story. But interesting story all around. Now, the question, though, is what do you think of it? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we ran out of time. I'd like to thank you again for joining into the program. It was another interesting one, folks. We went from normal sports stories, took a left turn right into Sexville, right into sex topics, which I think is the most American and most manly thing you can do, or womanly thing. It's 2022. I can't really judge there. Anyway, thank you again for joining me here today. Don't forget, we always have voicemails and emails, or the ability for you to leave a voicemail or an email, so that we can answer your questions. Like, they could be goofy questions, what if questions, questions about my life, questions about your life that you want me to react to, anything. So please, there's a there's a phone number. You can see that in the description, as well as an email. If you don't want your voice on the show, if you're kind of like shy or whatnot, you could leave an email as well. Please look in the description below, and you'll be able to be on the show, basically. Get a question on here. Get some interaction with y'all. So I hope you all have another amazing week. Hope you enjoy the weather out there, because you know what? Here in the Midwest, we got to soak in as many rays as we can, folks. Because wintertime is right around the corner, and we're going to be praying for weather like this. Because fuck, I am not ready for that cold. I'm not ready at all. But on a lighter note, hope you all enjoy. Cheers to you all. Love you. Take care.